To create a beautiful world free of conflict, I sought to eradicate life on Earth, both people and Pokemon, by using the ultimate weapon created by a man named AZ, and leave its resources to any remaining survivors. However, a group of children sought to put an end to my plans, and succeeded. After being saved by the legendary Pokemon Zygarde from the former hideout of Team Flare, I spent the next 5 years wandering the Kalos region, gathering bits of information of the past events, not remembering what had happened to me. I was able to witness the current events of a particular trainer who Zygarde took an interest in. This trainer, along with the help from their friends, were able to quell Prison Tower in Lumio City after a surge of power from the ultimate weapon. I knew that I didn't remember much, but I do know that I not once but twice witnessed a group of kids saving the world from destruction. I then headed for the Paldea region, and in the grapevine, I heard about a time machine deep in a place named Area Zero. After a long time, I was able to rebuild the time machine and set my sights back to the Kalos region 5 years ago. I had only one goal in mind: to fix my mistake. After venturing through the time machine, I found myself in someone's home. They apparently found me asleep. Even though still in a daze, I realized that my Pokeballs weren't with me. I had assumed that I must have dropped them during the trip. Unfortunate, but I must move on. Eventually, I met up with the same kids who had initially stopped my plans. I had changed my appearance prior so they wouldn't recognize me. They offered me a Pokemon. I felt guilty taking one, knowing that this Pokemon should belong to a trainer worthy of it. With other options, I accepted their offer, just until I was able to actually find the Pokemon that suited me better: Litleo. Pyroar was always by my side, even after. It wouldn't feel right without one. I soon realized that I would need to get stronger with my old Pokemon gone, so it was time to take on the gym challenge. The first gym leader was Viola. Litleo should have no problem dealing with her bug-type Pokemon. However, it seems I might be out of practice, as Litleo wasn't strong enough to take out Vivian. So I try again. This time Litleo was able to take out her lead Surskit with minimal damage taken. Litleo and Vivian trade attacks until Surskit's water sport finally ends. With that, Litleo can finish it with an Ember, and now gaining my first gym badge. Even though the only reason I was doing this in the first place was to stop my past self, I can't lie, it did feel nice to be a Pokemon trainer again. After the battle, I decided to head towards Lumio City. On the way, I caught my next Pokemon, Flabebe. When I reached Lumio City, the city I truly wanted to protect, I had met up with Professor Sycamore. He awkwardly challenged me to a battle, in which I defeated him fairly easily. He even offered one of the Pokemon he used in battle. I refused at first, but he was insistent. In the end, I chose, even though I knew I didn't deserve it. Afterwards, one of the children had asked me to meet them at this cafe. I walked in, and there he was, my past self. This version of me was so confident, so vindicated. I truly couldn't recognize this person in front of me, thinking he knew what he had to do for the sake of the world. This only steeled my resolve. But to do that, I would have to get stronger again. Starting by catching another former member, Mienfoo. When I reached Amber Town, I decided to head to Glittering Cave for training. That's when I found them, Team Flare, the group that had terrorized all of Kalos with their terrible fashion choice that I had created. It was a small step forward, but I decided to stop them. There was a couple close calls, but I was able to defend them off for now. Before moving on, I was able to fish another one of my former Pokemon, Magikarp, and with some training, it evolved into Gyarados. With that taken care of, it was time to challenge the next gym. The gym challenge feels a bit tedious for my current goal, but it was a way to test my Pokemon's current strength. The leader Grant leads with Emora. It being both an ice and rock type Pokemon, Mienfoo had no trouble taking care of it. He then brings out Tyrant. Mienfoo does good damage with Rock Smash, while he retaliates with Rock Tomb. This makes Mienfoo slower, so Tyrant goes for Stomp while we attack back with another Rock Smash. Then the gym leader heals. I didn't realize this was an actual play in Pokemon battles, but regardless, I attacked with another Rock Smash. It was time to switch out into Floette. Tyrant is able to land 2 attacks on it before one Fairy Wind claims my victory, and I'm rewarded with the second gym badge. With that battle behind me, it was time to head towards Geocinch Town. Along the way, I had another battle with one of my former subordinates. It was a very close call. I then finally made it there. The place where I activated the ultimate weapon. I of course knew how to access the headquarters, but without much power, I left it alone for now. Instead, I actually met with the next gym leader who I've talked to previously. She challenged me to a battle. However, I was able to win, thanks to her questionable decision making. Heading to Reflection Cave, I sought out my next Pokemon, Sableye. It did take some time, having very perilous bouts, but I was eventually able to capture it. At the end of the cave was the next location, Shalor City. For the first time in a while, I met with the kids from earlier in the Tower of Mastery. Me and Serena battle each other to decide who would become the first successor of Mega Evolution among us. It didn't feel right to take the opportunity away from her, but it might be necessary. Unfortunately, she wasn't as imposing as I thought, but I expect things to turn around eventually. Anyway, to gain the Mega Ring, I need to defeat the gym leader of this city. Although, I was under the impression that gym leaders would have the capability of covering for their notable weaknesses. Because of this, Sableye is more than enough to take care of her 3 Pokemon. Not only do I gain the 3rd badge, but atop the Tower of Mastery, Karina finally gave me the Mega Ring. It also turns out this Lucario has an interest in me, though I don't know why. I have one last battle with the leader, both of us using Mega Evolution, and I won. Afterwards, it seems that Lucario would like to accompany me, but I think I've taken too much more than I deserve, so I decline. With those battles behind me, I trek towards the city that holds the next gym leader. Along the way, I once again meet both the professor and the current champion, Diantha. We have a quick chat before I move along. Before I can once again challenge the gym, I'm stopped by Serena yet again. We exchange another battle in which I come out on top. With that decided, it was time to take on Ramos, the grass-type gym leader. However, thanks to Gyarados learning the new move, Ice Fang, it quite trivialized this fight. As I'm heading south, back towards Lumia City, I connect in a call with my past self. He congratulates me on successfully achieving Mega Evolution. But honestly, it's in one ear and out the other. To me, it doesn't matter what he said. The end goal to all of this is the same. If I remember correctly, at the time, Team Flare was attempting to take over the Lumiose power plants. This obstacle was obvious. I fought my way through, making to both a former Team Flare executive and admin, Aliana. It pains me to see a time where you got to know the organization I managed. I had taken that away from not just her, but all of who have followed me. For now, I need to put my regrets aside and move on. While I was making my way through the power plant, Litleo reached its final evolution stage. Right now, I once again need to test my Pokemon's current strength. Thankfully, the next gym leader en route happens to be in Lumiose. Clement specializes in electric types. My Pokemon don't have a surefire way of victory, but I'll manage. He leads with Emolga, and I lead with Pyroar. For some reason, Pyroar's flamethrower felt more powerful than normal, and it was able to take down Emolga in a single attack. And despite his Magneton using electric terrain, boosting the power of electric moves, Pyroar can still easily take it down. Lastly is Heliolisk. It takes a few tries, and back and forth with Thunderbolt, but Pyroar was able to take it down as well, winning me the battle. After the battle, I get a call from Professor Sycamore. He wants me to meet him at Lysandre Cafe. Those words haunt me for a moment, because I know who will be there. Once I arrive, I'm yet again met with Professor Sycamore and my past self. I knew of the atrocities he was about to commit, and all I could do was listen to his speech about an imperfect world. At the end of this talk, he hands me a King's Rock. How ironic. My past self truly thinks he's above everyone, and that his ambition is just. After that, I needed a refresher. The kids said they were all going to meet on Route 14. When I arrive, Serena immediately challenges me to another battle. This time her Quilladin had evolved into Chestnut, making her a bit more formidable. However, like the previous time, I still claim victory against her. Making it through the route, I arrive at Lavere City. This city houses the next gym leader, Valerie. So, it was time for another battle. She leads with Mawile, while I lead with Gyarados. I first use Rain Dance to boost Gyarados' water-type attacks, while the Mawile goes for Crunch. It takes some time. After some time, and Gyarados taking some damage, Aqua Tail does eventually take out Mawile. Her next Pokemon is Mr. Mime. We trade attacks in Aqua Tail and Psychic until Gyarados takes it down. Lastly is Sylveon. Since Gyarados had sustained enough damage, I brought out Pyroar. He takes a Dazzling Gleam, but it's not enough damage. And since it doesn't have enough power, Pyroar can win this battle for us. Never did I think I was capable of achieving this feat. Moving along, we head towards Dendemel Town. As great as things were going for a while, tragedy had to eventually find its way to me. The first was Floette. I had made one simple and easily avoidable mistake that had cost me my Pokemon. Both ironic and heartbreaking that it had to be Floette of all Pokemon. Then, later in Anastar City, I, yet again, had another battle with Serena. In the process, I lost my Gyarados. Gyarados was the core foundation of the team. Without it, the team crumbled. This was both a lesson and a wake-up call. If I was going to accomplish my goal, I would need to make better decisions for both me and my Pokemon, so something like this wouldn't happen again. On my fourth attempt, I once again make it back to Anastar City for another battle with Serena. Eventually, after enough back and forth, I do win the battle with minimal casualties. Since I was here, I needed to test my Pokemon's strength once more against the next gym leader, Olympia. I start off the battle with Murkrow, her with Sigilyph. I prepare with Taunt to make sure she can't use Reflect after she already used Light Screen. The next turn, Murkrow gets hit by an Air Slash, and I retaliate with Foul Play. And, as unfortunate it is, their Pokemon was just a tad stronger than mine. It seems that no matter how many times I reset the timeline, I'm always fated to lose a Pokemon. It pains me to say this, but I must move on. I'm sorry, Murkrow. Gyarados, in a rage, takes revenge on his fallen ally with an Ice Fang. Next is Slowking. I switched into Mienfoo on a yawn attempt, but quickly switched back out with U-turn to bring in Sableye. Slowking attempts with yawn again, but one payback is enough to finish the job. Last is Meowstic. You start by trading attacks until Sableye does fall asleep, and I suppose it's a trend for every gym leader to heal their Pokemon in the middle of a battle. It does take constant switching to keep my Pokemon relatively healthy, but Meowstic does fall in the end, and I acquire my 7th gym badge. Immediately after exiting the gym, we get a call from none other than my past self. A sense of dread wells up inside of me when he announces that he will be finally activating the ultimate weapon. This was it, what I had spent my time training for. It was time for my redemption. I knew exactly where to go, Lysandre Cafe. I took out the 2 former subordinates of mine to finally come face to face with him. I already knew that a battle here wouldn't stop things just yet. The first battle was no issue, my version of Pokemon coming out on top. Although I had defeated him, getting to where I needed to be wasn't going to be quick. I had to make quick work of my former members to finally make it to the next floor, the one where we had AZ caged in. This is where he told me the story of how the ultimate weapon came to be. While his creation was definitely catastrophic and cost the lives of many Pokemon, I started to understand just a little bit more of his reasoning. I'm no better than him, as I too used the ultimate weapon for my own ideal, and I'm about to witness it yet again. Beforehand, I needed to deal with Zerozek, a former yet loyal Team Flare scientist. I have one last Pokemon battle with him, and he ends up defeated. Afterward, he gives me a choice whether to activate the ultimate weapon or not. This is all for naught, as I'm the one who designed this mechanism. It doesn't really matter what I choose, since the Rosic is the one who can manually activate with the push of a remote. I watched in horror as I saw the ultimate weapon rise from underground. There was no point in waiting, so I headed towards Geosenge Town. Before I could get to the main base, my past self challenged me to another fight to stall time. This battle ended the same way as the previous one, though I could tell it was a bit tougher. Making her way through the bottom floor, one of the children, Shauna, stops us. She asks to aid us. These brave children, despite the major cataclysmic event unfolding before them, they still want to do their part. This is one of the reasons why I failed in the past. Shauna is actually a very big help in opening the door that leads to the center of the ultimate weapon. Minor executives do get in the way, but they are quick work. This is when the cocoon holding the legendary Pokemon finally starts to break open. Then it appears. Yveltal, the Pokemon of destruction and death. It emerges, but with the Master Ball I had acquired earlier, I was able to subdue it. Without the energy of Yveltal, the ultimate weapon is no more. However, if I knew myself, he would not give up so easily. Appearing in this ridiculous getup, he challenged me with one final battle. It starts similarly to the last two. He leads with Mienshao, and I lead with Florges. They deal good damage with acrobatics, but one Moonblast takes it out, along with Honchkrow right after. Pyroar is next. It is close, but I do end up taking it out with my own. Lastly is Gyarados, but I knew better. He was going to Mega Evolve. I bring out my own Gyarados, and he proceeds to Mega Evolve. I take an Aqua Tail with minimal damage taken. I eventually whittled down his Gyarados thanks to the Rocky Helmet, and it hitting itself in confusion due to outrage. Finally, after a while, Mega Gyarados falls. I have won. My past self screams in a fit of rage. That was our cue to leave. We make it out just in time for the ultimate weapon to fire straight upon itself, leaving it in ruins. My past self was nowhere to be seen, but obviously he was still alive. Before we all depart, Serena thanks me for helping her out with Team Flare and putting a stop to their plans. With Team Flare disposed, I had accomplished my goal. There was no reason to stay in the past. And yet, the adventure I had found myself on felt quite exciting. I had already collected 7 out of the 8 gym badges. Maybe I could continue this journey a little while longer. But before I could head to the next gym, I needed to take care of a couple of things. First was catching a Noibat, a Pokemon that I had also lost in a travel to the past. The other was 3 more battles against the children again. They were not as formidable as Serena, unfortunately, but I could tell the bond amongst each other was strong. Afterwards, I made it to Snowbell City. After tracking down the gym leader, I had a very anticlimactic battle with him. Both Pyroar and Mienshao helped out in defeating him, and I was rewarded with the 8th and final gym badge. With all gym badges acquired, what else was there to do but to battle each of the Elite Four? As I'm making my way through Victory Road, I'm stopped by Serena yet again. She challenged me to one last battle before the Elite Four. This was truly a good chance just to see how far both of us have come. As usual, she leads with Meowstic and I with Sableye. After a couple of turns, Meowstic falls to a payback. Next is Altaria. I switch on to Florges as it goes for Confide, lowering my special attack. It matters not, as a couple of Moonblasts can take it out. She then sends out Vaporeon, but a couple of Energy Balls takes it out as well. Afterwards is Chestnut. I immediately switched into Noivern as he takes the Seed Bomb. I retaliate with an Air Slash, which takes Chestnut out in one hit. Lastly is her Absol, but Mienshao has no problems taking Absol out, winning the battle. After the battle, Serena mentions how the both of us are alike. I wish I could say the same, but I would have to disagree. I had caused immense harm to the entirety of the Kalos region. She was a kind-hearted person who thought of the people and the Pokemon, while I was only selfish in my ideals. Accepting my past was going to be a long journey. Maybe the battles to come against the Elite Four will bring a tiny bit of clarity, as I'm greeted by Malva, a former team player member, now part of the Elite Four. I was surprised, but this doesn't change the fact that I still need to defeat her. The first member I decided to challenge was Wickstrom, the Steel type user. He leads with Klefki, while I lead with Pyroar. Thanks to his prankster ability, it sets up one layer of spikes before going down to a single flamethrower. Next is Probopass. I switch into Mienshao as it goes for Power Gem, doing minimal damage. I then break its sturdy ability with Fake Out, then taking it out with a single Drain Punch. Next is Aegislash. I bring in Gyarados, and after a few Earthquakes, it too falls. Lastly is Scizor, but Pyroar is the perfect Pokemon for this job. I had defeated the first member of the Elite Four. I decided to take on Seabold next. He leads with Clawitzer, and I lead with Florges. To start off, I use Sunny Day, not only to weaken water type attacks, but to also take it out with a single Solar Beam. Next up is his own Gyarados. I bring in my own, and after a couple of Thunderbolts, it goes down. He brings in Barbaracle, so I switch into Mienshao, who takes a not very effective Stone Edge. It seems that even the Elite Four members heal their Pokemon as well, but Mienshao does take it down. Lastly for Seabold is Starmie. I switch into Sableye as it goes for Psychic, which it's immune to. I use Fake Out for a little bit of damage just to stall. It then goes for Dazzling Gleam, which does hurt Sableye, but it retaliates with Payback, almost taking it out. After switching out my Pokemon enough times, I finally take out Starmie with Noivern. That's two of the members down. The third Elite Four member I decided to battle was Drozda. She leads with Dragalge, and I lead with Pyroar. I start off by doing damage with a turn, and it retaliates with Surf, doing about half damage. I decided to switch it to Noivern, who takes a Surf and can finish the job with a Dragon Pulse. Next in is Altaria. Not confident that a Dragon Pulse is enough, I switch out into Florges as Altaria just goes for Cotton Guard. It doesn't matter in the end, since one Moonblast is enough. Also the same for Noivern after taking two Air Slashes since the first one flinched. Last is Druddigon, and Druddigon fell to a Moonblast. The final Elite Four member to face was Malva, ironic as it is. We both lead with our respective Pyroar. I first use Rain Dance to weaken her fire type attacks, while her Pyroar attacks with Hyper Voice. Afterwards, I swap into Mienshao, who takes a very powerful Hyper Voice. Mienshao not only regains its HP, but also takes down Pyroar. Next is Talonflame. With it still raining, the best it can do is Brave Bird, so the best Pokemon for the job is Gyarados. After one Dragon Dance, they're fast enough to take out Talonflame, but Gyarados gets burned in the process. She sends in Torkoal. Knowing I can't stay in now, I switch it to Mienshao and take a Stone Edge. I go for Drain Punch next, as it retaliates with Earthquake. Realizing this isn't going to work, I bring in Noivern as Torkoal sets up with Curse. That is all for naught, as one Dragon Pulse is enough to take it out. Her final Pokemon is Chandelure. I go for Dragon Pulse, doing about over half damage, and Chandelure uses Confuse Ray. After enough switching around, I can take out the final Pokemon of the Elite Four. There's no other obstacle left except the champion Diantha. Although, I had already decided something regardless of the outcome. With this being the pinnacle of a true Pokemon battle, it was time to take on the champion of the Kalos region. Her first Pokemon is Hawlucha, while I lead with Noivern. Noivern doesn't hesitate to take out Hawlucha with one Air Slash. Next in is Aurorus, but with one Drain Punch, it too falls. She then sends in Goodra, so I switch it to Florges, while Goodra fails a Dragon Pulse. Goodra eventually goes down to a couple of Moonblasts, along with Tyrantrum, who comes in right after. Next is Gourgeist, but it too goes down to a Flamethrower from Pyroar. Couldn't believe my eyes that this was actually happening. But her final Pokemon was Mega Gardevoir. I get some damage with Flamethrower, burning it in the process as it retaliates with Psychic. Just in case I still needed Pyroar, I switched to Sableye. Since it was burned, I stalled it for a bit for burn damage to rack up. With no other option left, I switch into Florges to take a Moonblast. And while she's able to fire one last Moonblast, mine is enough to take her Mega Gardevoir out. With that, I have defeated the champion of the Kalos region. I honestly don't know what to say. I never imagined I could achieve a feat like this. Although I am happy about this victory, it feels a bit hollow. Because I've decided that even though I will be registered in the Hall of Fame, I will not take the responsibility of being the current champion. If I couldn't regulate Team Flare, then I have no right to be champion. However, they do insist on having a ceremony for defeating Team Flare. I guess I'll allow it. But in the crowd was none other than AZ himself. He asked for a Pokemon battle with me. I oblige and defeat him. He was actually pleased with this outcome. I think he finally felt free from his guilt. And in that moment, the Pokemon he had treasured so much, finally, after 3,000 years, came back to him. Witnessing this moment made me realize just how precious Pokemon truly are, especially towards us humans. We definitely should learn to coexist with each other. I was a fool to think otherwise. But with my ultimate goal achieved, it was time to head back to the present and continue where I had left off. Au revoir.